Hey bro, so I was on Google and I was literally just typing away. I watched some YouTube videos as well, and I was seriously just trying to figure out what was the biggest problem with teenagers in general, because it's pretty generic, but you keep seeing over and over again mental health, mental health, mental health, depression, anxiety, all of this. It's everywhere. Right? Like you just literally just look up like what is teenagers' biggest problem? It's always mental health. Like it's always mental health, and it's just everywhere. You can't get away from it. I genuinely actually tried to find something other than mental health, and I couldn't find anything. So I decided to just go with that, and I found some insane things. So I thought I'd tell you some of them. So to start off with, I need to tell you a bit of a story. Not more of a story, more just some general facts to get going. So that's what this video is going to be sort of. It's sort of just going to be like a sort of swerve of facts. Okay, bro. So these facts might seem a bit irrelevant, but it's some of those things that you've sort of just got to understand, and then the rest of the video just makes a lot more sense. By the end of the video, you will have your mind completely blown. You will know the cause of all of this mental health, and it will make sense to you. And you'll be able to go around the world with that belief, because like mental health and social media, it's all just it's so generic. There's no hard truth. You know what I mean? There's no you're watching this, right, and you might, I don't know, you might think this is a problem, or this is a problem, or this is why mental health is so bad. But there's no it never feels like there's actual truth to cling on to, and I think I've managed to get that here. So we're just going to get into it. So in the 1900s, I love going back in time, though. So in the 1900s, puberty in boys was 15, and for girls it was for 14. Is that right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So puberty in boys was 15, and puberty in girls was, so that's when you start going through a process of turning into a man, right? So and then, well, we all know, yeah, that I don't really have to explain it, but um, nowadays, puberty in boys is 12, and in girls it's 11. That's like a 3 year reduction. That's a 3 year reduction. Okay, that's that's quite significant, right? So basically, we're just going to talk about the effects of that, because that is huge. Like in 100 years, a 3 year reduction. That's insane. Basically, the basis of this argument that I'm portraying in this video is that, so we're going through puberty younger. Like the average person is going through puberty 3 years younger, but the brain isn't developing like 20% faster. Like it's not. It's developing at the same rate. So your brain sort of just starts developing the second you're born until you're about 25, and then it sort of stops developing. So basically, there were people who are 12 years into their brain development, and they're going through puberty. When back in the day, it would have been 15 years of brain development, and then you're going through puberty. And the purpose of this is that puberty has some effects, like it increases, it creates a sort of unique brain, in the sort of process, and it's more react. This new brain, when you're going through puberty, becomes more reactive to social cues and to hierarchy. Remember those two things: social cues and hierarchy. We're going to talk about. They're going to be some fundamental things in the rest of the video. So okay, so you know your brain, right? Yeah, yeah, like this thing. Yeah. So there's this front part of your brain. It's called. You might have heard of it before. It's called the prefrontal cortex. It's some sciencey term. It doesn't really matter. It's basically just the front part of your brain, and this part of your brain is very important. It's the thing you do to make decisions So say you decided to click on this video, you used your prefrontal cortex to decide to click on the video. That's how you made the decision. That's quite important. And this part of your brain develops later than the rest of the brain. So if you think of like brain development, different parts develop at like different stages. So sometimes that part of the brain will develop in this part, and this bit is like one of the last ones to develop. And it's for your decision making and how making decisions. And it doesn't stop until about 25. So, in order for your prefrontal cortex to develop, right, which we all need to do, right, because if it doesn't develop, then we won't get like if your prefrontal cortex develops, then you'll get better at decision making. That's literally what that means. It means you'll have like more control over your decisions. You'll have more control. You'll just have a better like brain. And in order for that prefrontal cortex to develop, you need three things, right? You need sleep, you need physical activity, and you need in-person interaction. Now, there is one thing that prevents every single one of them. I'm not even kidding. Like, do you know what it is? You probably do. You probably heard of it before, right? But, like, what can you think? One thing that prevents sleep, that prevents physical activity, and it prevents in-person interaction. What could that be? Social media prevents all three of these. You're on social media all night, so you're not getting a good night of sleep. You're on social media all day, so you're not moving around. And you're talking to your friends online, so why would you see them in real life? Right, do you get what I mean, bro? So you are depriving yourself of the three most necessary things for this part of your brain to actually develop. And guess what, bro? This part of your brain is responsible for decision making, like I said. What's a decision? Like I could come up with an example. This is an example I came up with while I was researching. What about the decision to get off social media and get some sleep and go for a walk and actually see a friend? Well, say you're on social media for a month and you're depriving yourself of sleep, physical activity, and in-person interaction. Getting off social media and doing those three things will be harder because this hasn't developed, because it's deprived of all the three things. So it's literally harder to get off social media and, like, I don't know, go for a run or something, bro. Which is literally how you get your brain to develop. So it's almost like an infinite cycle of just not able to make decisions. Do you know? It's genuinely like an infinite cycle of dumbness. Like I'm not like it's in your mental Oh yeah, okay. This is where a lot of my research went. So we talked about earlier about social cues and hierarchy. What does social media also have? It has a lot of social cues, and every single thing on there is in a hierarchy. Why? Well, you've got your likes, you've got your hearts, you've got your whatever, you've got your shares, you've got all those like sort of metrics, like likes and hearts and emojis and or comments, or what did I get? Like you've got a hierarchy for every single thing that's posted, and you have a social cue for every single thing that is posted. And during puberty, your brain is more reactive to both of these, like a lot more reactive. Like if you think of like our ancestors, bro, like they would have been like ancestors who are like our age, they would have been like trying to turn into like their fathers, or like some sort of version of their father. You know what I mean? And they would be sort of just trying to go through a process of becoming that, and they would sort of just. They would need to be reactive to social cues and hierarchy, because they would need to be reactive to social cues, like, I don't know, like making new friends, brotherhood. They needed to know, like, if, some invaders had come, they would need to be responsive to hierarchy, because they would need to figure out where they are so that they can settle, and maybe even try and go up the hierarchy, because a lot of youth is just going up a hierarchy. Like, you go into school, you get good grades, you go into a job. It's literally, like, literally, the youth nowadays is just trying to go up the hierarchy, and it's been like that for like donkey's years. Like, I can't, like millions of years. We've, like, young men have just been trying to go up this hierarchy. That's because we are more reactive to this hierarchy as part of that, and also because we don't really know our place. As we go up, we'll start to assert our place. So that is very important from a biological point of view, but from a social media point of view, it's very dangerous, because you really, 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 really want to go up this hierarchy of social media. Like, seriously, like, really, 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 really. Like, really, 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 you know? Really, really. And you, at the same time, also have all these social cues of this friend and that and that and that, or you both. And it's too much. It's too much hierarchy. Like, 900 times out of 10, there's someone who gets more likes than you, and there's someone who gets more hearts than you, and someone who looks, you know, cooler than you. And it's literally just, it's all like, it literally is so, like, aggressive. There's so much that it actually causes something called mental distress. Like, literally, it's when your mind becomes so, like, overwhelmed by the amount of social cues and hierarchy and likes that you I'm sorry, but this sounds a bit silly, doesn't it? Like, oh, that picture has 500 likes, and then, like, mental distress. But it really isn't, bro. Like, if you think of some kid, like, and they've just grown up on, like, some 8-year-old, and he's just grown up on social media, and then he gets to 12 and he hits puberty, right? And he's literally grown up on social media. It is his hierarchy, right? It's his hierarchy. It's how he gets his feeling of importance. It is how he sort of evaluates where he is in the hierarchy of, like men, which is, like, biologically, like, very important. Like, these sort of companies have, like, capitalized that, and literally, like, made it so stressful that it literally causes you mental distress, because most likely, bro, you don't get that many likes. Like, I don't get that many. I barely. I'm trying to get like 2 views on this video, bro. Like, you know, two. Well, obviously not, but you know what I mean, right? You don't always know. It's all about the social cues and the hierarchy. So we're going to talk about mental distress now. So hopefully you agree that these likes and these sort of hierarchies and these, like, oh, what is my friend doing, all causes you mental distress because it's so much. So what even is mental distress? Okay, so your mind's a bit stressed. Like, so what? Like, that's a dumb video. Click off. But mental distress causes, like, quote, like, I'm quoting this from a scientific paper, right? Mental distress causes rapid and dramatic loss of, guess what? The prefrontal cortex abilities. Like, the thing that we were just talking about, do you remember the thing that, like, makes decisions, the thing that tells you to get off social media? When you are on social media for long enough that your mind becomes mentally distressed by the amount of likes and pictures and hierarchy and social cues, that your mind actually becomes mentally distressed, it will cause rapid and dramatic loss by your prefrontal cortex and make it even harder. Like, it was hard already when you're deprived of sleep, physical activity, and in-person interaction. It makes it even harder to get off. Literally, bro. Literally, bro. Like, literally. Rapid and dramatic loss. Yo, this is so dramatic. It's literally associated with ADHD. Like, I'm not even... It's literally associated with ADHD. This is, like, one of the symptoms. And it's literally caused by social media. Like, social media causes ADHD. Although we can learn something from that, because as that's one of the symptoms, there might be some similarities. So I came up with some effects of ADHD for you, bro. These are some of the effects of ADHD. It delays the right prefrontal cortex by 2 years. Well, no, it doesn't delay. It delays the peak. So if you imagine, like, how your brain develops. It's not linear, right? It doesn't go like that. It's sort of curves and like goes like that, right? Like, and it just eventually you get to 25 and it's completely developed. Well, the peak of development happens 2 years later if you have ADHD, and this is like one of the ADHD symptoms. So I think it's helpful to know, and also it's double in boys, so that might say something. Right. So your prefrontal cortex is basically getting damaged. That is the point of this video. It's literally just proof that your prefrontal cortex, the thing that's making decisions, it does more than that. I'm literally sitting here saying it just makes decisions. It does a lot more than that, but decision making is the big one that I want to focus on. But here's some more effects of the prefrontal cortex. Decreased empathy. Right? Like, decreased empathy, right? You know, like... Next one, short-term memory loss. So, maybe you just had the thought, oh, I'm going to get off TikTok. Oh yeah, scroll, gone. Thought's gone. Oh, you know, gone. No. No. Like think about it, you're scrolling on TikTok, right? Companies would want you to have short-term memory loss, wouldn't they? Because then you'd be able to completely absorb into like whatever the next thing is. So, the next one, number 3. Inflexibility and stubbornness. So, basically, the people who I'm really trying to help here won't be helped from this video. Yeah. But you are the guy I really want to help for this video, and you won't be helped. Social media has literally damaged your prefrontal cortex so much, you have become inflexible and stubborn. So much so that no matter how much evidence I put forward, no matter how many other YouTubers that make videos about this, no matter how many of them watch, even if you watch like the full thing, your mind has been conditioned to be so stubborn that you will never agree with my message. You will never agree with this message. You will never agree with any other person saying these same words in any other different light. That's what they want. That's exactly what they want. They want you to be so stubborn, so inflexible, have such short-term memory loss, have such decreased empathy that you're depressed. They want you to have all of that. And now your stubbornness is going to be like, well, no, actually it was XYZ. Like, the amount of my friends that I would say are stubborn and inflexible. Like, I teach them something, they'd be like, no, XYZ. Like, I'm saying XYZ because, like, you know, you're probably, you know, you can't speak. You probably know some of them. It's like, they'll just, like, say no, and then because of XYZ. It's like, all XYZ, you think about XYZ, and it all sounds dumb to you, you know what I mean? And it's just that inflexibility and that stubbornness that literally just stays you a slave forever. Last one is perseveration. So these are all the effects of having a damaged prefrontal cortex. I've got to say it over and over because they have given you such short-term memory loss that you're not going to remember it, bro. What was the first one, mate? Do you remember? First one, decreased empathy. Remember? Okay. The last one is perseveration. It's like a fancy. I honestly had to look up the definition. Yeah. It's just like basically it's stuck on a topic or idea, doing the same thing over and over and over and over. Doesn't that sound like something, bro? But doesn't that sound like something really familiar, bro? Perseveration, doing stuck on a topic or idea, doing the same thing over and over and over and over. Yo, how come when I looked up the effects of a damaged prefrontal cortex, it basically described perfectly someone who's basically addicted to social media. Like, is that seriously a coincidence, bro? Like, are we seriously gonna sit here and cope? Like it's just. Why does that sound so familiar? Inflexibility and stubbornness, short-term memory loss, decreased empathy and perseveration. So stuck on the same topic or idea over and over and over and over. Yo, why does that all sound familiar? I'm not even kidding. Literally go to Google, look up effects of a damaged prefrontal cortex, and this is what comes up. Decreased empathy, short-term memory loss, inflexibility and stubbornness, and perseveration. That's what comes up. The exact definition of someone who is addicted to social media literally comes up when you put in what are the effects of having a damaged brain. Think of that. A literal damaged brain. A brain that has been so damaged that it literally doesn't even work properly. Yo, these companies think big. They're not thinking, oh, how can we shade the color to make it more... No, they're literally trying to damage your brain. Like, they might as well be in the room with you, like, flipping hitting you in the head over and over and over with every time you scroll. They might as well, bro. Also, if I didn't already mention, mental distress is also it also causes depression and anxiety, which you might be familiar with. Depression and anxiety are the coping mechanisms for this distress. They are not sort of like people think mental health issues are like awful things. They're literally just your coping mechanisms for your life. So I looked at some symptoms of depression for you, bro. Having trouble falling asleep or staying asleep. Yo, my mum said literally last night, the other night, I can't go to sleep without watching TV. It delays development of the prefrontal cortex. Oh my god, wait, what? Delays development of the prefrontal cortex. Can you believe that, mate? Trouble making decisions. I'm not yet. But yo, that literally. Come on, mate. It's just an infinite loop. Everything I found, it was basically like an infinite loop back to brain damage. I'm not even kidding. Go on. Is like I think like, I'm gonna try to tell you the loop. I came up with like a loop or something. It's basically something like you get social media because say a friend has it, and then you eventually you get all the dopamine little spikes. So you really like it, and then you use it over and over and over and over until eventually. And if you're currently this basically is only really happening to people who are in puberty, and then when you hit puberty, that over and over and over social media causes mental distress, and then that mental distress also causes depression and anxiety and prefrontal cortex damage, and then all those things bring you back to social media permanently. Once you cannot make your own decisions, once you are so depressed that you cannot sit in a room by yourself, once that you are so anxious that you literally need to consume, like literally your mind needs to be consumed with something for your mind to be able to shut off. Once you're so anxious you have to do that, you are a slave forever. Permanently. If you can escape that, then I have faith in you, mate. I have faith in you, bro. Like, but the thing is, bro, like, if you're this far in the video, like 25 minutes into a video, you probably haven't had your brain like damaged so much because your attention span probably been damaged as well. So literally like 95% of the people who really needed this video have clicked off. Literally 95% they've clicked off because I didn't tell you like the top 10 biggest problems. And also, just to finish the loop off, depression leads to mental distress. Oh, this is how I got it. Depression leads to mental distress, leads to delayed brain development, leads to unable to get off social media, leads to depression. Really, it's the social cues that cause the mental distress, but yeah, basically. So remember that, bro. Social media leads to hyper social cues and hierarchy, leads to mental distress, leads to delayed and damaged brain development, leads to unable to get off social media, which is basically addiction at that point. It's way deeper than most people think. Most people think it's just go on social media, oh, dopamine, oh, now I'm addicted. It's deeper, it's a lot deeper than that, bro. I think I've just revolutionized the industry. Like, it's literally, every single person thinks it's literally just dopamine. You go on there, oh, there's some nice pictures. No, instead it's like someone bashing your head in with like a flipping wood bat until you're like so dumb that you can't even get off the app. Like that's the same thing, bro. You're just sat there like, oh, more. Like, you become a lifelong suicidal slave to these companies. You're permanently addicted because of the amount of brain damage. You're suicidal because you've just been amplifying your depression for years and years. You're a slave because like your brain is damaged. Like your brain is literally damaged, mate. You're literally so anxious and depressed you have to be on there. To companies. Literally, remember, this is a company. This is like Mark Zuckerberg. Like, there's a face, right? This is Mark Zuckerberg doing this. Also, TikTok is owned by the Chinese government, by the way, so you can blame the Chinese as well. This is the Chinese government doing this to you, boo. There's like a war technique. It's something called... I can't remember the name, but there's like a war technique. Sun Tzu said it was the greatest war strategy. Literally, Sun Tzu. Like, there, like literally, people have been studying that guy for thousands of years. It was something like go into the enemy's camp or something, and literally just destroy themselves from the inside. That was the technique, basically. Destroy themselves on the inside. The Chinese government is literally just trying to destroy all of us from the inside. And attacking our literal brains has got to be the greatest war strategy ever created. Like literally, like I'm not even under, like, can you seriously name a better war strategy than literally making your opponents so inflexible and stubborn, literally giving them short-term memory loss? Like, imagine you're going to war with someone who has short-term memory loss. Oh, where did we put the guns? Like, like you're dead, bro. Like, boom. Like, this has got to be the greatest war strategy of all time. Like, we're all gonna be shot dead, bro. Anyway, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. I've been smiling throughout this video, but it's genuinely dark. It's emotional. It deeply saddens my soul to see that it's almost like my entire generation has become completely just absorbed with this. Something that is literally damaging their brains. I literally just want to help you so much. I just don't know, bro, you know. What do you do? What's the solution to this? You know, what's the magic solution? You know, Sam, you've always got one of those. Well, I'll tell you, bro. There is only one solution, and that is that you quit social media. And if you're not able to do it in 5 seconds flat, no problem. Your brain has been damaged, you have depression and anxiety. The first step is to fix your mental health, honestly. You're not able to do any of this without it. You think you are because you have an ego. Honestly, like me too, bro. We've all got egos. But you probably haven't like really tested your ego for quite a while. And I think you've got a bit of an ego. It's just like honest criticism. Like I've got an ego. Like there have been times in my life, like earlier this year, I had a massive ego. Like you know that we all go through periods of having a big ego, so it's completely fine. Like you think you can quit social media tomorrow, but I truly believe that you won't be able to completely. Like there's gonna be like that one app, and you still use it, and like you know what I mean. And it's gonna be difficult, bro. But I think just fix your mental health. I've made and uploaded an entire series on happiness, which is basically the same as mental health. If you could watch maybe just one of the episodes, like the more episodes you watch, the better you'll get. So it's as simple as that. The more episodes you watch, the more likelihood you'll have of being able to quit social media faster. So if you watch, say, one, you'll be able to just be in a position that's a lot better than all of the people that have already clicked off. They're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna just quit social media, really. And then your goal should be to quit social media, because at least until you're out of puberty, you can't be doing this to your brain, bro. And even if you're like not in puberty, like this is still like there's still some stuff we have never covered. This is teenagers' biggest problem. What is a bigger problem than your brain literally being beaten in with a bat? Like imagine you're sat there with your brain being beaten in with a bat, right? And you're literally like, huh, my biggest problem. Oh well, I don't go for a walk every morning. Dumb? Like what? Like what? Nah, bro, this is your biggest problem. Your solution is to watch some mental health videos, maybe mine. There might be some other videos that you really like, and you can watch those mental health videos. There's tons of great ones out there. And then you'll be in a good position to quit social media. And just do it for 2 weeks. If you're still not convinced, just do it for 2 weeks. And you'll just see your entire life change. And if you don't, you can go back to it. Worst case scenario, what you missed, like, I don't know, like 5 texts. Like, it's not end of the world. Okay. Hey, bro. Okay. My name is Sam. Our name is Seven. Fix your brokenness for your purpose.